said no one ever. Okay. All right, guys, I think we are good to go. Hi, everybody. I'm Misty Gordon. I'm the NA instructor over here at Avamere Court here in Keizer, Oregon. We're here tonight to celebrate the NA graduates. We have 7 graduates tonight. I know they're super excited. We are going to have a little bit of a pinning ceremony. So I do have some things I'm going to read to you guys, and one by one we are going to call all the students up here so you guys will get your photo op of the whole class all together. It's really nice. So I guess I'll just get started. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read a poem that I found online. It's pretty popular if you're into nursing or into healthcare at all. You may have seen it. It's anonymous. Nobody really knows who wrote it, but it kind of goes around the bend and then comes back again every so often. So I'm going to read it, and it kind of sums up what we do. It's called See Me. What do you see, nurses? What do you see? Are you thinking when you look at me? A crabby old woman, not very wise, uncertain of habit with faraway eyes, who dribbles her food and makes no reply when you say in a loud voice, I do wish you'd try. Who seems not to notice the things that you do and forever is losing a stocking or a shoe. Who, unresisting or not, lets you do as you will, with bathing and feeding the long day to fill. Is that what you're thinking when you look at me? Then open your eyes, nurse. You're looking at me. I'll tell you who I am as I sit here so still, as I rise at your bidding, as I eat at your will. I'm a small child of 10 with a father and mother, brothers and sisters who love one another, a young girl of 16 with wings on her feet, dreaming that soon now a lover she'll meet. Remembering the vows that I promised to keep, at 25, now I have young of my own, who need me to build a secure, happy home. A woman of 30, my young now grow fast, bound to each other with ties that should last. At 40, my young sons have grown and are gone, but my man's beside me to see whom I don't mourn. At 50, once more babies play round my knee. Again, we know children, my loved one and me. Dark days are upon me, my husband is dead. I look at the future, I shudder with dread. For my young are all rearing young of their own, and I think of the years and the love that I've known. I'm an old woman now, and nature is cruel. 'Tis her jest to make old age look like a fool. The body is crumbled, grace and vigor depart. There is now a stone where I once had a heart. But inside this old carcass, a young girl still dwells, and now and again my battered heart swells. I remember the joys, I remember the pain, and I'm loving and living life over again. I think of the years all too few, gone too fast, and accept the stark fact that nothing can last. So I open your eyes, nurses, open and see. Not a crabby old woman, look closer, nurses, see me. This poem was found among the possessions of an elderly lady who died in the geriatric ward of a hospital. No information is really available concerning her specifically, who she was or when she died, and I reprinted this from the Assessment and Alternatives Help Guide prepared by the Colorado Foundation for Medical Care. Okay, so I want to welcome you all to our Nursing Assistant Program graduation ceremony for the NA students from Avamere Court here in Keizer. My name is Misty Gordon, as I said before. I'm an Oregon State Board Nursing Approved Primary Instructor here representing Avamere Court's 6th Nursing Assistant graduating class. It's pretty interesting. My first class started November 1, 2017, and my 6th class is graduating November 1, 2018. Pretty cool. We are one of the very few free community-based nursing assistant programs here in Salem, Keizer, and we're proud to say we are on track to helping produce nearly 67 new certified nursing assistants each calendar year. This is the 6th class I've worked with here at Avamere Court in Keizer, and I must say that every day I'm finding myself more grateful for the chance to do so and to have had the opportunity. The nursing assistant class you're about to recognize has worked hard to get to this point since September 17th. They reviewed and studied over 50 chapters of materials. Genevieve knows this part. They've taken 14 daily quizzes. They endured hundreds and hundreds of PowerPoints on my more boring than not short stories of nursing application. They've taken 3 tests and a final, endured multiple mock skills tests and my endless checks and rechecks of conversions. They have successfully practiced them to the standards required by the Oregon Board of Nursing. And to top it all off, they've manipulated every imaginable body part on the classroom mannequin whom we fondly refer to as Terry. They then went to the floor and over time dedicated over 75 hours each of their personal time, sacrificing their families, their personal lives, their jobs and commitments, and their sanity, to complete the amount of hours required by the Oregon State Board of Nursing to demonstrate competence and skill at the nursing assistant level. I can attest personally to the difficulty and frustration one experiences going through the classroom and lab experience for a nursing career. These students have practiced and repracticed skills. They've endured the funny looks they invariably get when retaking a vital or practicing a skill under the scrutiny of not only me, but the patients, and sometimes their families and staff members. They've overcome their fears, and sometimes mine, of performance and judgment. They've grown so much since day one of this class. I was lucky to have been able to teach these students. It was a joy to be with them, and thanks to them, I look forward each day in both to the classroom and on the floor. My story as a CNA began in 2001, where I began as a student technician at a large teaching hospital on the East Coast. It was an amazing experience, and this is where I learned to love nursing, to identify with patients as people, not as a room number or a diagnosis. I can attribute my work ethic and values to not only my father, who passed just weeks after I received my registered nursing credentials, to my mother and my own personality characteristics, but also to my nurse manager at that hospital. She worked with her staff on a more personal level than I have ever experienced. I attribute my ability to have attended nursing school to her dedication to ensuring my full-time status remained intact while I attended school, allowing me to work in my hours however I needed. Her name is Rhonda Flynn, and she still, hands down, is the best nurse manager I've ever met. A special thank you goes to my sister and brother-in-law. I was newly divorced and raising 3 young boys just above the poverty income level. My financial aid had run out, and I could not afford to attend school for my last 2 semesters of school. My family pulled together and made certain that I graduated. And last but not least, I met and fell in love with someone who loved me through the ups and downs of work, classes, late night papers, and clinical worksheets, disgusting diagnoses, and all the Facebook memes. I'm sure he was tempted to run, but he hasn't yet. My point is, I absolutely would not be where I am today, here with all of you, were it not for those people. I tell you these things because I want you all to know that it is never just one person that makes it possible for a person to attend school and achieve the needed educational requirements for career advancement. It literally takes a village. Students, husbands, wives, life partners, children, sisters and brothers, aunts, uncles, grandparents, friends, and of course, the administrative staff of supporting facilities. We all make it happen. So tonight, I want us all to take a moment to offer a round of applause to all persons present, and to those who may be watching live, who have in some way influenced and helped these students along their path to this day. CNAs are often overlooked and undervalued. This program at Avamere Court, here in Keizer, and in my class, I want my students to know their worth and their value. I want my students to realize the importance of their contributions and how much their communities will benefit from their work. If there's only one person in the world that knows what kind of work goes into becoming a CNA, I want them to know it was me. Because of this, I wanted these students to experience a pinning. For any one of you that has graduated, attended, or participated in a nursing graduation ceremony, you can understand the significance of a pinning ceremony. When I came to this program last year, I made a point to ensure that we recognize the accomplishments of the students. Many students work full-time, care for children, our single parents, our caregivers to family members, are single-handedly supporting a family all while attending school and clinical and masterfully pulling it off. The recognition for this sort of accomplishment cannot be too big. This pinning is a turning point in the lives of these 7 graduate nursing students. It symbolizes a turning point, a commitment in the hearts and minds of those who received the pin. Since the typical CNA pin was pretty bland, I purchased the materials to create some unique pins for this class. Each student will receive a pin with several various trinkets like angels, cross, uplifting phrases, possibly hearts. Sorry, Jordan. Even if this is the only night you wear it, know this pin symbolizes your entry into the noblest and most respected profession in the world. I sincerely hope you are all as proud of your accomplishments as I am. I now would like to individually recognize these students, these future Oregon State Board of Nursing assistants, these future leaders in care, these human beings that give so much of their time and heart to the patients here and now and in their futures. So I'm going to ask that as each student is called that they come up to accept their award and that they remain here until all students are together. Before I introduce each student, I am going to read a quote from someone. It's a little loud. So I'm going to read a quote from someone. These people influenced our ways of thinking in life, nursing, philosophy, and love, and they've remained in our hearts, including mine, long after their departure from this earth. One can only hope they had the care of individuals such as this nursing assistant class to care for them in their final hours. Here we go. In nursing school, we were prohibited from posting anything on social media that related to our classes. It's kind of boring. So one of our peers developed a Facebook page under the pseudonym of Florence Nightingale. She posted notes and tricks, tips, anything she found helpful in school. She's one of my cohort and is a well-respected nurse practicing in South Carolina. That is nursing. Sharing knowledge, educating where you can, and setting an example, shining that light for others to follow. How very little can be done under the spirit of fear. Florence Nightingale. Gabriela Acosta Perez. This man was an American short story writer, an essayist, biographer, historian, and diplomat of the early 19th century. These words remind me of the beauty of not only birth, but of death. Bless you. Caring for the elderly when they can no longer do so for themselves is a passion that holds a special place in the nursing community. Bravery cries too. There is a sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are messengers of overwhelming grief and unspeakable love. Washington Irving. Anna Chernishoff. This person was an American poet, a singer, memoirist, and civil rights activist, and one of my favorite authors of all time. Her writings have put my thoughts into print, and I often wondered if we would have been friends were we to have ever been neighbors. Probably not, but I can dream. They may forget your name, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. Alma Rosa Eugenio. Widely recognized as an icon of democracy and social justice, this man received more than 250 honors, including the Nobel Peace Prize. He was imprisoned for 27 years for fighting for what he believed was right for his country. That is dedication in the face of unimaginable fear. And he said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." Nelson Mandela. Laura May Mangeli. Before he was injured, this man was asked to run for Congress. I had the biggest crush on him, and I can tell you I'd have followed politics much more closely if he'd run. This man spent the last 10 years of his life lobbying on behalf of those suffering from spinal cord injuries after suffering an injury himself. He was the face of every kid's superhero, and he said, "A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles." Christopher Reed. Jordan Anthony Ponce. Here's your only two more. This man was a stand-up comedian and actor. His movie, Patch Adams, is one of the reasons I'm a nurse today. I've always said he had kind eyes. His smile and laugh were infectious. If you have a moment tonight, say a little prayer for this man who passed away at the age of only 63 due to issues related to mental illness. In his movie titled Dead Poets Society, he said, "No matter what people tell you, words and ideas can change this world." Robin Williams. Cynthia Marie Quinones. This one is almost immediately recognizable upon describing him. He's one of my all-time favorite childhood characters, and I was nicknamed after him in my family. I often have to stop and think about what he says here because sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. You're braver than you believe and stronger and smarter than you think. A.A. Milne actually wrote that, but Winnie the Pooh, the character, said it. Shannon Wilson. So, congratulations, guys. This is Avamere Court's 6th NA class. know they're super excited to embark on their careers, and I'm super, super proud of you guys. Bye, everybody at home. I don't know how to stop it. Sorry, guys. She's telling me to wait.
It smells so good in there.
Does it? Oh, and the food?
This is from all of us.
Oh
Your
my gosh.
survival kit.
Oh, thank you.
Oh wow.
Lots of goodies. Oh my. Aw. I'm gonna put it right here so everybody can Thank you for popping. Sort of, kind of.
Like, I don't know about that.
Oh, you guys are so sweet.